Good morning, boys and girls. This is the Soviet air phase of turn 12. Since this campaign has been a little bit focused about learning and understanding the air phase, I thought we'd try to do it in detailed mode another time. But obviously I'm not going to do it on the very high resolution message level 4, but I'm going to try 3, and if you press the keypads or keys, key numbers 1, 2, 3, you can change it so we can go down to 2 if it gets boring. So I'm not going to talk a lot about the air on the map. I am around 2,500 airplanes. I'm just going to show you my air directives, which this excellent button helps you with having a good overview that I have not been using. The Y button here over here under map info, and you go down to active targets only, and you can see the white ones are active and working. And I believe purple means you have air cover, friendly air cover escorts / escorts. I'm not assigned escorts, but otherwise they're green if there's only bombers. I need to check the manual, I'm so lazy. So as we can see here, we have 2 zones of air superiority and 1 ground attack, and the ground attack is gonna be... Okay, so you get green here and then purple the rest of the way. I'm not quite sure, because I do have escorting planes and they do not seem... They are grayed out, so they are inactive, which is weird. Why is that? Is that because the staging base is too far away from them? I should probably set this as staging base. Manually setting these directives is because my fighters are flying from Leningrad. It's complicated. So now the bombers, they'll be coming from Tikhvin over here, which I am expanding to a level 3 airbase, the first on the map. And then at this airbase here in Leningrad, it picks up escorts. The mission turns green. So green is better than purple, huh? Altitude is 3,000. Let me know if that is a good altitude. I think they go down to 1,000 when they drop the bombs, and there's some fighting going on at 1,000 height, whatever you do. So now both the air wings AOGs are white. The directive is white. The 4 hexes here are green. I am attacking the panzers. And that's how that works. And when I go back here, this directive is green now and not purple. These superiority, could they ever turn green? I mean, there are no bombers, so it's only MiGs flying air superiority. I don't know. I'm not gonna Google it live stream. We have nothing over the northwestern front except a few bombing attacks. I'm gonna have a very small sector here covered by 22 bombers, and for some reason it is purple, and the this they don't have any they don't have any fighter support here, so okay, so I removed. It is an SAD AOG, SAD. That means you can have multiple types of airplanes inside the air wing. I'd say the system is historically correct and realistic, but it's unnecessarily complicated. But you learn it after a while. SAD is good if you have just a small air wing and you want to mix different types of planes. Now I don't have any fighters, so I'll add a fighter here after the video. I don't have... Okay, if we're gonna watch the air combat, that's gonna be after the air phase. So we are going to bring an air group from the reserve. We're gonna clear the selection. We're gonna clear all the plane types, and I probably wanna send in a fighter bomber. It's a very short range, so I might even consider using a double winger older airplane. I'm gonna sort it after experience, because I wanna use at least 59, 60 preferably experience. Yeah, I do have a lot of... Okay, so what's the shortest range? It's of course the I-16s, but I could also use Yaks. I think Yaks has the shortest range of the new modern planes, and then Lag 3s and MiG 3s has the longest range, and they're the highest height patrol planes you want. I don't know which one is the best escort and close range escorts here. Yeah, what do I want to send out here? Now this turn they lowered the maximum size of air wings to 20. So they used to be, this is 64, 32 and now 20 or something. Oh gosh, darn it. They're not gonna be able to fly this turn anyways. I suppose it's better to keep the I-16 air wings, good air wings, inside the reserve box and upgrading them as new fighter planes comes online in production. So I guess we're just gonna go with any old. In this sector I haven't seen the Luftwaffe, so I'm considering where I should use a very low morale unit here. Okay, let's do that. Let's waste a low morale unit here. So this is not a very skilled, but he's just gonna escort. Alright, so he's not gonna fly this turn, so we're gonna go with 22 bombers and take a chance that there are no Luftwaffe intercepting. Down here we have the next Northwestern Air Directive, and here we have 38 fighters flying interception, no sorry, escorts from Regev. It's kind of a long way, but still it's green all the way. You have one green line and one purple line. One of them is the bombers, another one is the escort. I can't remember. Maybe since you only have bombers, if you only have bombers, there is a green and a purple line here as well. Okay, maybe I added fighters but they're not active because they've flown 100%. You still have the purple and the green line. Yeah, interface is it's great if you understand it fully and remember it when you learned it 8 years ago. That's not me. Anyways, we got escort all the way here. So we have 19 PE 2 bombers. Anyways, so we're gonna bomb this Panzer regiment and kind of the center breakthrough sector here. I'm learning that I wanna make it the area smaller and kind of push the hexes that I'm attacking inside my own line a little bit more, so that I don't put up a lot of useless interdiction behind the German line where there is of no use to me. See how that goes. Oh, okay, this is... I wanted to do this quickly, but there's so many complications and learning aspects. Alright, over Western Front, I am using the Baltic Fleet Air Command because it's a little bit... I still have a very crappy leader on the Western Front Air Headquarters. So we're flying superiority over the entire front there, I guess, except these 2 hexes. But I can't be arsed fiddling around with 50. If Luftwaffe want to bomb these 2 hexes, go ahead, do it. Fine, I don't care. The main thing here is we are going to put up some recon down here, because I need to know if there are more reinforcements coming up here towards Kaluga. Now, the main bombing attack, there is no bombing up here because they didn't march towards Moscow. I don't need to bomb them. Instead, the fuck should be, yeah. Wait, what? Here, of course. Here's one. It is green. It has a green and a purple line. Both AOGs are active, not grayed out. You can see 38 bombers and 60 fighters are going to attack. They're going to attack these 3 hexes here and kind of put up probably some interception back here. But I think this is the best I can do. Should I move this hex like so? Okay. You can spend a lot of time setting up manual air directives. It's very fiddly, it's very micromanagement and time consuming intensive. I think I raised the strike numbers here to 4. I don't know why it says auto, maybe auto set 4. In certain areas I have increased the strike numbers because I do suffer a lot of operational losses, but I feel as long as I'm at a high number of airplanes available, I should use them. Alright, I evacuated apparently, okay, from Bryansk, we have these 3 hexes are going to be attacked, and intercepting is hopefully going to be put up in front of the Germans this turn. Okay, here's this one is a little bit worse. I should probably move this hex, 1 hex like so, but if I do that, we get purple and no escorts for some reason. Why is that? The closest airbase, this base. Okay, if I use this as a staging base, I do get green, which means the escorts are active. Okay, so I can do that. Why am I attacking these guys instead of others? There's plenty of targets, rich environment in the Kursk area. Well, I figured that... Oh, shit. The next threat, I'm gonna run away with this tank army here. So I'm gonna set them up against this river, along this river here, south of Orel. And these boys are the closest ones to this line, so I want to bomb and put up interdiction closest to the front. That was my logic for picking that target. Super interesting, but there you go. So we bombed a small amount of troops with a small amount of area in this area. Okay. I don't feel confident reporting, streaming, making videos of this. We have another ground attack here. It is panzer formations, and we're going to use tactical bombers, which are very much more efficient, I noticed. So we have Su-2s and Il-2s here, and they're going to bash these 2 panzer divisions and these motorized here in open terrain. One is in Belgorod. And they are going to... Let's see if we push the... I think we're gonna do this. This means we're not gonna put up a lot of interdiction behind. We're just gonna focus on these 3 front motorized. This looks better. And here it's auto 2. I think maybe we wanna put this on 3. I can't see that. I have a lot of damaged planes, probably from operational losses, but I don't have a lot of fatigue on my pilots, on my air wings. So even though I'm flying 7 days a week and increasing the strike numbers and having a lot of attacks being done, I don't see that the air wings are getting ground down fatigue-wise. Alright. Here we have another air superiority over this area. Maybe it is too large, I don't know. The next ground attack is going to be right outside Kharkov. And I am bombing a lot of troops behind here. I think this is fine. And I am using 50% of this same 17 SAD tactical bombers. So they are going to strike 2 different zones. Maybe I'm overusing them, but there's over 70 of them. Let's do it this way. I need help in this sector, and air support is what it's going to be. Here's, for some reason, it's set to auto 4. Maybe I'm overusing this poor air wing. We'll see after the combat's done. More air superiority. I don't see the Luftwaffe, so really I could decrease the amount of air superiority. I guess I'm role-playing a bit, or trying out how much attrition I get. I get a bit of recon behind the northern front at Stalino here. I need to find out what's coming up to attack my sector. And then I'm striking not... Oh, right. Yeah, I'm striking a sector here in front of the line. These 2 units. I also have a single hex strike. I haven't done that a lot. And here I'm using some tactical bombers. And I do believe I experimented with putting rockets on these air wings. That is inside this second rag AOG. That's gonna make them more efficient, because I do believe they fly escort with the Ilyushins, and they also attack ground troops if you have them in the same ground attack directive. So putting better ordnance. This is probably the first time I've fiddled around with equipping individual air groups with different ordnance on them. So let's see how that happens. I see here we have an auto 2. Could probably have them attack 4 times, 7 days a week here. Let's see what happens with that. So I don't know if this is a division or regiment, but we're gonna give them hell. Let's see what happens here. And then I want to slow down and attrit away on these 4 guys that I don't see very well down here. So before they reach my line. Okay, we have more recon here down in the south. And then we have some recon over Southern Air Command sector. 2 air superiority zones and a ground attack. As you can see here, we're using 300 bombers. And then you're gonna ask yourself, where the hell did you get 300 bombers from? And the answer to that would be the newly deployed, well, last week deployed, that I deployed into a PVO Air Corps here. It's gonna be 216 strategic bombers. Oh right, this was nearly 500 bombers last week, but since this week we moved from 32 to only 20 bombers, the number went down to only 200. Well, that's fine. So these these poor Romanians here, they are gonna get hit by 300 bombers, including 204 engine bombers. I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see. We'll see. It says auto 4, so 4 times a day the AI is going to try to send bombers. Intensity is high, but priority is normal. I think intensity is how much the AI tries to bomb, whereas priority is just a selection between different missions. If there are competing missions, priority will decide where the AI will send planes. I don't know if you increase strike numbers, does that force more attacks more efficiently than if you increase the intensity? The intensity doesn't mean you send more airplanes in each strike. Jesus, I need to repeat and learn the air system properly. Watch a few 10-year-old tutorials, read the manual that has changed 1,500 times in 10 years. All right. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about this, although it is overwhelming, I have to tell you. What did I do before? I did not use AI assistance. I fiddled around more or less with putting the right air wings on the map and removing them and upgrading manually. So I did the administrative and strategic work, but I put very little into using directives on the map. I mostly left them on ground support only, and my experience from that was that the Soviet air wings got chewed up very heavily. First off, air fighters and fighter bombers would intercept very long range because they will intercept at any range unless you have these air superiority sectors covering nearby. And that would mean that I suffered a lot more losses. This is a better way of playing, but it's so much more time consuming. Yeah, alright. Let's go, I suppose. See what happens. And this is speed 2. If you don't want to watch the air combat manually, just skip to the next video. Thanks for watching. Please give me feedback. I need feedback. I need to learn this system better. What am I doing wrong? There's so many parameters to set. Here we go. I wonder what detailed level 3 involves. It's still every wing. Is this too slow? Doesn't feel as slow as the. Just enjoy the morning coffee. So we get some AR2 bombers. They look modern on the photo. Don't know. I need to Google them, research them. They seem less modern than the PE2 bombers. Is that correct? I only have a handful of them, like two regiments. This is a bit too slow as well. I think I need to go down to speed 2. Let's do a few more of these and see what we feel about it. Yeah, this is almost as slow as speed 4. Now we're down to speed 2. Boom. Okay, look at the speed now. So there's a parenthesis of 10. 15 losses. Okay, fine. And does it say... It doesn't say what the defending formation is. It just say what anti-aircraft we're attacking. Oh, here we go. One tank hit. Good job. That's what we want to see. Interdiction. Okay, this is... See, again, we have 0 escorts and 14 in a parenthesis. What does that mean? I don't know. Same here again. 40 losses. Okay, some IL-4s are striking together with P2s. 37, okay. I mean, I don't mind air interdiction in this sector because I'm sure there are German infantry behind that are gonna move up to the forts and strike them. Wow, look at this, 189, that is so efficient. The tactical bombers are so much better than the level bombers. Look at these defense and casualty numbers. Wow. Jeez, I can't wait to get all the IL-2s online. I mean, I guess the level bombs has the range, so even though they're not as hard hitting, they have their advantage, of course. And they're available in large numbers early war. Yeah, pathetic losses, but I suppose the terrain doesn't help. This is a good... Okay, speed 2 is what you... If you're gonna stream and record air combat, speed 2 is what you want to do. This is perfect. I thought it was gonna be too fast. Okay, we have SB2s, no Luftwaffe. I was a bit worried that these far to the east SB2 old bombers were gonna get intercepted. So far we're doing fine with them. Again, as soon as we come up here and use the tactical bombers, higher these casualty numbers. 2 tanks, yay. I like taking out tanks. Now remember, another factor might be that the Southwestern Air High Command has replaced with one of the best Soviet air leaders, Skill 6. So it could be partly that the bombings are more efficient, is that he's quite a lot better as a leader. The other good leader is of course at Leningrad. He starts there, not Novikov. So, and I don't bomb a lot at Leningrad, but I do have a feeling that the bombing results might have been a little bit better efficient up at Leningrad. So leader skill should influence as well. I mean, makes sense, right? Yeah, here again we go. One tank taken out. Another tank. But when I say taken out, I mean it shows us a casualty number on the screen. I don't know if it's gonna be 3 tanks hit. They can be destroyed, damaged, or just suppressed, disrupted. Oh, and I would love to know. Most bombers are using 100 kilo bombs, even the IL-4, the large 4-engine bombers. But they do have 250 kilo bombs on them, and you can change that around. Should you be using fewer, heavier ordnance, or is it the default standard setup with a bunch of smaller bombs the best? I don't know. And if I don't research it, I'm gonna have to experiment with it. A bunch of air interdiction set up around Gimme Check, the port. Yeah, that's fine. Over 200 losses, very nice. Oh boy. One bomber shot down. I am a bit disappointed that the AI won't use it. It almost feels like cheating a bit. I haven't seen the Luftwaffe barely at all, especially in the Soviet turns. I'm kind of disappointed. Game's been out for, what is it, 8-10 years, and the AI isn't able to defend its own ground troops. This is the summer of 1941. The Luftwaffe should be ruling the skies, and they're not, so... Here we have 72 within parentheses. I don't know what that means. The SB2s come into action, flying here from the southern shore of Sea of Azov. They're not getting a lot of hits, are they? Maybe a reason for not using the older airplanes is that they're so bad that even if unopposed, they don't inflict enough losses to warrant them having them on the map. They should rather be in the reserve pool training. We'll see. I was thinking that the Germans moving very far from their supply lines, in the open, far away from air bases, kind of in the Don Basin, was a good place to use these older bombers, kind of unopposed. Not even up here, near to Pskov. Are they Novgorod air bases? Are they having any? I don't think I've seen any German interceptors this entire week or previous weeks. Have I ever? No, I'm not sure. I can't swear on it, but I don't think I've ever seen intercepting German planes. So that means I could just ignore using escorts. And if there was a difficulty setting for the AI, you know, on easy mode, I could understand this, but if you want to play expert or harder, this shouldn't be happening, really. But obviously there isn't a setting for making the air war more difficult in the game. I suppose higher morale. We're playing with 120 morale for the AI, the Germans. I suppose that affects the airplanes. So the air wing's going to be incredibly powerful, but if the AI doesn't use them, it's a moot point. We do have over 60 operational losses, only 18 shut down by flak, so still operational losses is the main issue of losses. But as with the Soviet Air Force, I'm fairly positive that the mindset you have to have is like it's better to use it. You can't just let it sit and grow in size. You're expected to suffer a lot of losses. There we go, that's a nice strike. Another nice strike. Yeah, I'm hoping this will alleviate the pressure on the Kharkov fortification line. Just a little bit. I'll try to avoid talking about the ground situation in this video because it's supposed to be about the air situation. So, weirdly enough, it feels like speed 2 is almost as slow. I mean, each individual strike is probably less detailed, but there's so many of them that this goes on forever. Okay, I see. Okay, this is slow and slow. Should I increase to speed 1 and see what happens? I think so. Yeah, I didn't expect this to take this long. So let's see if we go to speed 1. Okay. If we do this, we're gonna be through the air combat in no time. Because we get no detail whatsoever. I don't know. I kind of, maybe you don't want to watch it. So we're up to 7,000 sorties and 0 axis defensive sorties. This is so bad. This is kind of a turn off for me for the entire game or campaign, to be honest. Like, it kind of ruins the experience that the AI is so incredibly incompetent. What the hell's going on here? This is disappointing. So speed 1, you don't get any details, you just see the combats being done. Yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is kindly, if you made it this far as a viewer, thank you for watching, skip to the end, but I kind of wanna watch the combats, because it is a learning process for me. Building an impression of what works and what doesn't work. Or is it too boring? I mean, I am enjoying my morning coffee after all, so not too shabby. So I wonder, what is your experience playing against the AI? Is it incompetent? Is it challenging enough for you? I suppose you're supposed to train versus the AI as a beginner and then move on to opposed human versus human games. I'm considering posting. You know what I would like to do? This could be a boring video to talk about it. I would like to play an opposed game against another streamer, and we would both post our videos so a viewer can watch both sides as we struggle against each other. So I think I'm gonna contact one. There's not that many of us streaming this game, but I think I'm gonna contact. If you want to stream and you're like average or slightly above average player, not a super skilled expert, knows everything of the game, because you're gonna crush me, then please feel free to contact me and we'll set up an opposed game. Thing is, I'm not going to be able to do 1-2 turns per week all the time. There's going to be periods where it's going to be slower. I'm busy in my life, so I'm a bit hesitant to play opposed games, because you know, if you go on vacation a couple of weeks and the campaign just stalls, is that rude? You know, when you're into the game, you're playing it a lot, you could probably produce 2, maybe even 3 turns in a week because you're like all excited. Then you're busy and it could go 2-3 weeks and you don't touch the game, and the opponent has to be okay with that. I mean, as long as you have communication explaining, it has worked for me. I played slower campaigns like that, but it makes the game takes forever, of course. All right. Go back a bit to speed 1, see how I feel about that, because it's taking forever. Boom, bombing, bombing, bombing. All you see here is the number of sorties and losses go up. I guess this is fine. You know, to be fair, most of my losses are going to be coming from my bombers, and I do have kind of a surplus or a larger amount of bombers available than I do have fighters. So even though plus 100 operational losses kind of hurts, yeah, we're just gonna go with this. 11,000 sorties. However, I did notice quite a lot of damaged planes on the map this turn, at the beginning of the turn. Probably from these operational losses last week. So I guess maybe over time, a large amount of damaged planes on the airbase is going to build up, and you need to pull them back into the reserve pool just to kind of clear out the repaired planes from these operational losses. On the other hand, there is some super pro player methods when the air group size decreases now, because there's only 20 planes in the air squadrons, but there remains 32 pilots on the on-map squadrons, air wings. So you have a surplus of pilots online or on the map, and they're of a higher experience than newly created pilot pool kind of entering the reserve pilot skill level overall. So there is a way to, I don't know how quite explain it, but it's from the Matrix forums that if you need skilled pilots, you can pull in an on-map old downgraded air wing sitting kind of far away, far behind the front in Siberia, and then these experienced pilots from the start of the game are going to distribute into the pilot pool, and then when you deploy a very good air wing, these experienced pilots are going to enter it because they're going to be on the top of the pool. This seems extremely fiddly and expert level kind of play that you match by planning from turn 1, having experienced pilots on the map that you pull into the reserve the same turn as you deploy an experienced air wing on turn 12 or later. Seems like a 5D chess that I'm not going to be able to play, and I'm also not exactly certain how this works, or even what the benefit is, because it's such an average of thousands and hundreds of pilots and planes and Yadam pools and priorities, and geez, how do you wrap your head around that? I read it was multitude of threads in a long thread in an AAR on the Matrix forums, and I never quite understood it, what was going on about. All right, finally ending, where do I think the best thing to do, we're learning now, is going with total aircraft losses. We're up to 214 this turn. I find that acceptable, to be honest. German air wings or airplane losses are going down, probably mostly scouting planes, and it's obviously operational losses, which is the largest culprit. You know, I wouldn't be surprised the amount of bombing I was doing here. Now, total aircraft, what? Okay, what happened here is that I had a lot of 32 plane wings, and they all went down to 20. So the airplanes themselves didn't disappear, they just went into the equipment pool. And now the Soviet AI is going to have to rebuild new and train new smaller 20 plane air wings. So this kind of tricks you. Fairly certain that if we look at the equipment pool, we'll see more planes than previously. Right, so not that I remember, but look at this, we have fairly high numbers. I haven't checked this before, so I couldn't tell you if these numbers are higher than they were, but they should be. Right, so that means there's no good way to kind of add together planes in the equipment pool and planes with pilots in the force pool. So you don't know how many airplanes you have, or is there? Logistics phase. Oh, you lose. Okay, you don't lose any planes here. Action phase, production. No. Air phase. In the air phase we lost 181. Yeah, okay, this makes sense. Oh, all right. Can you see? Okay, yeah, this is what you can do. Manpower losses. No. Manpower losses in the air phase. Wait, did we just kill 3,200 or cause casualties? Yeah, we're getting better at this. How about tanks? Okay, so air phase losses. That's where you check the... We killed 21 tanks. We're getting better at this. Yeah, almost the same amount of guns. Alright. Soviet air manpower. What's the orange line again? Did the Germans bomb us 350 here and then they stopped doing it at all? So the AI is able to cause... Nope. So it red. So the first turn the Germans caused over 2,000 losses, and then from that on we have 0 airplane loss. So the Luftwaffe is grounded, basically. Just sitting there soaking up supplies. Oh, shitty game. Right, so I think I finally found a way to judge the combat result outcome of the airface in a good way. It is not by examining the post air execution phase summary. I've been trying to use this menu, and I find it incredibly unhelpful to get an overview of like what did I actually achieve. So I wasn't deep diving into the commander's report, the metrics statistics here. So that's a much better way. I'm happy with the airface, but it is not because I'm a genius, it's because the AI is retarded airwise here. We did not get any recon here for some reason. I don't know why. And if I mean 9, 10 bombings there, 3, 4 bombings here, 31 bombings on this poor panzer regiment. Plenty of bombing here, plenty of bombing here. Alright guys, so this is interesting. If you have a smaller area, you do get more strikes. And spread out, and remember this is just one air wing spreading out in 2 different areas. This is like 70 tactical bombers doing this amount of bombing. It's plenty of attacks here, plenty of attacks there. More spread out because of a larger area here. Makes sense. This is interesting. Here we have about the same density of attacks, even though we're flying from a much longer distance than usual. So that confuses me a bit. Here we are much closer, but we get about the same density of attacks. And here we have more bombers here, so I'm not surprised we get a little bit higher amount of attacks. Anyways, German ground air attack losses are increasing, but the Luftwaffe is nowhere to be seen, so it's kind of a walkover, cheat, or AI exploit to do this, really. I mean, should I just, if I want to play fair, I should just turn off the air section of the game? That's not going to happen, of course. Alright, thanks for your patience. I feel like I'm all over the place rambling, discussing a lot with myself, but the game is that kind of almost philosophical, how much do you want to LARP roleplay, and how much are you playing a tutorial learning process, and how much are you actually competing versus the AI. So I guess I'm in a bit of a mix. Hope someone made it to the end. Thanks for watching. Feel free, definitely. I really appreciate every comment, and I think I've answered, or at least liked and loved every comment I gotten in this recording stream campaign so far. So your feedback is very much appreciated. All right, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.